is CTV News.
Yeah, how about the weather out there? If your day started with a shovel or snowblower in hand, you're not alone as Windsor-Essex digs out after a walloping of snow. Thanks for joining us. More on the snow still to come, but first, Windsor's 2026 budget is a done deal and it locks in a 0% tax increase. However, council didn't just stamp it and move on. There were late changes to fees, transit, parking, and infrastructure that could still hit close to home. CTV's Sanjay Maru breaks down what changed and what it means for you.
Windsor City Council spending 6 hours on Monday deliberating the 2026 budget.
This is a response to the delegates who came here a couple weeks ago.
Proposed recreation fee increases that were expected to climb as high as 8% will now be capped at 3%. Council also agreeing to temporarily bring back the Route 1000 extra bus for the rest of the year after parents and students raised concerns about long and complicated commutes to and from Massey and Holy Names high schools. And while transit fares are still rising in 2026, Council voted to scale back the increase slightly, setting the adult fare at $3.95 instead of the originally proposed $4.
Cost for those three items would be approximately $389,000. We do have money in corporate contingency, and so instead of transferring $2.4 million to the BSR, it would be a $2 million transfer.
Council also signing off on the next step in work planned for Pesh Island, approving a recommendation to move ahead with a dredging project aimed at restoring water flow into the island's interior. The work would be funded with $600,000 already included in the capital budget, with city officials saying that amount should be enough to get the project started while the city continues to pursue outside grant funding.
We don't anticipate future works. If the work is done properly once, it should be sufficient, and once we dredge it once, it should be once and done.
Council also approving a series of parking changes in the downtown core, backing away from a proposal to extend paid parking hours. Instead, Council has voted to pull enforcement 1 hour earlier from the current time of 7 p.m. back to 6, while increasing the hourly cash rate at meters to $2.50. Drivers paying using the parking app, however, will not see a price increase. Also approved is a plan to add more angled parking on select downtown streets.
Angled parking gives us roughly about 40% more spots in the same geographical space. So if I can move those people out of their garages, because everybody wants to park right front door from their businesses, that frees up a few more spaces in our two large structures and possibly for more residents to park in them.
In Windsor, Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
A water main break saw part of Riverside Drive closed this evening. Windsor Police announcing the closure around 5:30 with Riverside Drive East between Isabel and Fairview the site of the break. City crews were on scene working to make repairs. No timeline was given immediately as to when things might reopen. And a pair of fires over the weekend saw a dozen people displaced. On Saturday, a fire, that is, in a garage on Dominion Boulevard sparked up around 9 p.m. Crews say it spread to the attic of a nearby home with close to $400,000 in damage estimated total. 5 people were displaced there, but no one was hurt. And on Sunday, a fire at a home on Oak Avenue is believed to have caused about $600,000 in damage. It started in a second-floor bedroom, with the cause believed to have been electrical. A family of 7 was displaced there. Windsor Police today confirming a body found up north in the fall was that of a Windsor man reported missing in the summer. 37-year-old David Paveo was reported missing mid-August, with police conducting extensive searches through the region in the weeks that followed. 5 people have been arrested in connection to his disappearance, 2 charged with first-degree murder, the other 3 with accessory after the fact. Police have not released details about a possible motive or cause of death. In Chatham, a fire from late last week is now being treated as a criminal case with an arson charge laid. It happened last Thursday at an apartment building on McNaughton Avenue West, the same building hit by an arson fire last year. Police saying this fire was intentionally set as well, and a 72-year-old man is now charged with arson and disregard for human life. Ottawa is deploying a Royal Canadian Navy patrol vessel to Greenland. The ship will be there when Canada opens a new consulate next week. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says the vessel is a symbol of this country's growing collaboration with other Arctic allies. U.S. President Donald Trump recently de-escalated his demand for America to acquire the Danish territory. He had threatened to impose tariffs on European nations opposing the idea, but more recently ruled out the use of military force. The Prime Minister and Ontario Premier Doug Ford putting on a united front today despite sharp disagreements over China, autos, and Canada's trade direction. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
We're going to put on his tab.
Pizza topped with pleasantries.
Very productive meeting. Very productive. It's all about Team Canada.
But the Premier has been highly critical of the Prime Minister's trip to China and what Doug Ford called a terrible deal to allow 49,000 Chinese EVs into Canada in exchange for lower canola tariffs.
Did you guys make up?
Well, I never had a problem. And yeah, is there differences? Sure there is. But I can tell you one thing. We agree on 99% of the stuff.
Ford said autos were about one of 5 topics discussed. While the Prime Minister hasn't shared much about talks with the U.S. President, as CUSMA, the North American Free Trade Deal, is up for review this year. Over the weekend, Donald Trump took several swipes at Canada on Truth Social, relaunching his old insult for Justin Trudeau, calling Carney governor, a 51st state reference.
In this role, you get called a lot of things, a lot of time, and I'm not going to comment on every tweet or truth or comment from whoever, so I can handle it.
Before question period, the minister responsible for Canada-U.S. trade did offer a rare glimpse into the talks.
We have a narrow trade arrangement.
Saying he reinforced to U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer, Canada is not pursuing a free trade deal with China, which the president is wildly warning against.
I was reassured that Ambassador Greer understood very clearly what the agreement is and what it's not. And what was reassuring is his clear desire to work with us and Mexico in terms of a review of CUSMA.
Dominic LeBlanc spoke about speaking again with Greer later this week and meeting in the next few weeks. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
U.S. President Donald Trump's criticism of NATO allies' efforts during the war in Afghanistan is striking a nerve with veterans here in Windsor-Essex.
We need to remind him that we spilled our blood. We need to remind him that Canada and our allies have always been there.
Retired Master Corporal Mike Akpata was among the more than 40,000 Canadian Armed Forces members to serve in the conflict. Last week, Trump claimed the U.S. never needed help from NATO allies, going as far as to say their troops stayed a little off the front lines in Afghanistan. From 2001 to 2014, 158 Canadians were killed on the battlefield. Akpata believes the comments are disrespectful to families of the fallen. He feels there's a need for Canadian officials to respond strongly.
I wish there'd never be another need for young people to put on uniforms and pick up firearms and go wherever. It's going to happen. How the government reacts right now, and governments react and support their soldiers, their veterans and families of the fallen, will determine the desire for people to serve in the future.
And Windsor-Essex veterans received a chance to share their stories over the weekend. An Ontario filmmaker seeking to preserve Canada's war history traveled the region to document those stories, and CTV's Robert Lothian tagged along.
That's me when I was about 19 years old. I had that taken in Pembroke.
Despite a nearly 70-year difference in age, war veteran Jerry Bessignol and filmmaker Zach Dunn have a shared passion, preserving the stories of those who served.
Somebody said, "Oh, you're a veteran? You're a hero." I said, no, I am not a hero. I'm a survivor.
Windsor-born Bessignol was one of the 6 Windsor-Essex veterans being interviewed this weekend for Dunn's Global Veteran Stories series.
I think the one thing that always sticks out for me is how young these veterans were. You know, I'm going to be 27 in October, and all these veterans who joined, that joined at 15, 16, that lied about their age to join at 18.
Traveling Canada and the U.S., Dunn has documented documenting the untold stories of veterans through social media.
Just how unique these stories are, and a lot of them are still untold. You know, all the veterans, most of them I met this weekend, have never been interviewed.
Sharing the most delicate moments of those longing not to be forgotten.
I said, they were shooting at us and we were shooting at them. And I said, a lot of Canadians, we get 516 Canadians that are still over there. Because I went and visited them.
Wow.
Starting with an effort to learn about his own grandfather's service, Dunn has now captured the stories of more than 140 veterans. Working with schools, his goal is to make their stories more accessible for the next generation.
So I want to give kids that opportunity to listen to their stories in the classrooms, you know, on video. I think technology is a great tool for that.
What started as a passion project has turned into a long list of eager veterans.
A lot of the times when I post the story, I'll get comments or messages saying, well, you know, my great uncle or my granddad also served. Do you want to interview him?
Even with that growing demand, Dunn says he won't turn anyone away, taking every opportunity to share these stories while he still can.
It's a race against the clock for me, just to save as many stories as I can.
Robert Lothian, CTV News, Windsor.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time.
2/3 of the recorded homicides in Minneapolis right now were committed by federal agents.
And still ahead, a controversy continues in Minnesota why the White House is sending its border czar as tensions continue to rise. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is here with our first look at the weather tonight. And Gary, tomorrow is a good day to bring the scarf and gloves and hat and earmuffs.
Yes. Just lay them out and put them all on because tomorrow morning could feel like minus 30. Good evening once again, folks. We're talking about the wind chill value, but the core temperatures, the ambient temperatures that we are recording at our weather stations aren't lying. They are well below seasonal. And that's why we're looking at a map painted in blue, all of southern Ontario, but most importantly for us in extreme southwestern Ontario in this weather warning for extreme cold. So overnight temperatures will drop down to about minus 16, minus 17 at around 4 a.m. at the coldest point in the early morning. It could feel like minus 27 to minus 30 in Windsor and the surrounds in extreme southwestern Ontario. Reached a high of minus 7.3. That's well below seasonal. The average high is closer to the freezing mark at minus 1. Minus 14.5 today was our low. The average is minus 8.4. So we haven't been close to the norms for now. I'm counting 12 days in a row, at least 3 or 4 degrees off the mark. And generally speaking, it's because of this polar air mass that's been in place. It's helped to drive snow, lake effect snow right across the Great Lakes. We're going to see more of that in the next 24 hours. In particular, Lake Huron, right? A few streamers this evening. But what's coming out of northwestern Ontario, where temperatures have been bone-chillingly cold in Dryden, Armstrong, Thunder Bay, minus 20s core temperatures. We're going to see that along this area of low pressure drive, lake effect, and system snow right through the heart of southern Ontario. I think we'll see waves beginning at around 4 a.m. Tuesday morning. Again, a secondary wave at around 10 a.m. All of that combines to put down anywhere from about 2 to 5 centimeters in the Lake St. Clair, extreme southwestern Ontario range. The areas shaded in the darker bluish purple, obviously we'll see 5 to 10, and for travelers along the 401 between Chatham, Kent, and London, expect 3 to 5, possibly 5 plus. 16 degrees or 17 in some areas feels like minus 27. The winds will be sustained at around, say, 35 kilometers per hour with gusts in the 45 to 55 range. We'll go to a high of minus 8, minus 9 for most. And that snow again in the morning, tapering off in the evening. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, still minus double digits for daytime highs. Sunnier for the weekend. And single digits, but still below seasonal. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. See that? Take it all in. there it is. There's some hope. Let's look at your weather.
Thank you, Gary. Yes, the weather was the hot topic today, with folks digging themselves out to get the week started. Snow causing major disruptions all over Canada. Here's CTV's John Van Valley Rao with more.
In downtown Toronto, this was the scene many drivers woke up to, warned to stay off the streets. A directive that wasn't hard to follow because just getting to a main road required a lot of shoveling.
For Toronto, it's shocking, to be honest.
In a city once ridiculed for calling in the army to help clear snow, this was, by any standard, a lot to cope with, smashing records that go back more than 80 years.
It was crazy. Like, we haven't had storms like that in a long time.
In some parts of downtown Toronto, 56 centimeters fell, with the city by far getting the worst of the snow, fueled by its proximity to Lake Ontario and the wind direction.
I don't think I've ever recalled a storm where the heaviest amount of snow was in Toronto when a storm hit the entire province, like from Windsor to Ottawa.
A storm that closed schools, with kids getting a snow day, and residents asked to stay home if they could. In Kitchener, so much snow was piled up on the side of an overpass, it acted like a ramp, which a pair of cars hit and launched over, one of them flipping and landing on the ground below, killing the driver. At Pearson Airport, where they also got walloped by record snow, airlines were in recovery mode after hundreds of flights were canceled on Sunday, and there were plenty more delays today.
I understand it's the weather, and I mean safety comes first.
A storm that moved into Quebec and onto the Maritimes, where as much as 40 centimeters of snow is expected to fall in Nova Scotia by Tuesday. And in many parts of the Maritimes, schools were also closed. At Halifax's airport, dozens of flights were canceled. As for Toronto, this is now the snowiest January on record, triple the average amount, and there's still 5 days left in the month. John Van Valley Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Yeah, here at home it was not quite as bad as Toronto, but still plenty of snow to clear. Windsor crews shifting plow efforts from the main arteries to some residential streets. Here's CTV's Bob Belichico with that story.
If a picture paints 1,000 words, the word that comes to mind right now is stuck.
You never get a car with front-wheel drive in a snowstorm. You never.
You know, a lot of snow came down, so you got to make sure people are able to walk on the sidewalks and stuff like that. You got to be out here cleaning.
From sidewalks to parking lots, businesses have been caught off guard by this year's winter.
Last year it was a lot less snow, so we didn't have to budget too much for it. But like this year, it's easy tenfold what we'd have to pay to keep the facility clean from snow.
Another word that comes to mind: fun.
I mean, the weather's nice, It's really fun to get out here in the snow and run around and everything.
It's not often we get this kind of snow down here, so I figure let them play outside. Maybe we'll go sledding later. Just try to enjoy what we can.
It's snow day, so kids are home, so I don't want them indoors, so I put them outdoors.
There was no bus. It's during winter, so it's my day off.
I like having days off at school.
No break for adults, though.
Just got to clean it up when it comes and drive safe.
The city of Windsor has been clearing the roads around the clock, and this morning started plowing residential streets as well.
We like to say it takes at least a minimum of 24 hours to clear the residentials, but it can be longer than that.
Now, this trail here at Malden Park is next on a long list of things to get cleared. Now, the city of Windsor tells me that they have 120 kilometers of multi-use trails in the system, and that it usually gets cleared off within 36 to 48 hours after a snowfall, with a clock reset if it snows again. The city says roads won't be completely bare, but they're doing their best to make them passable.
Until these temperatures change, you're probably not going to see full bare roads.
The final word of the day: patience. The city, the town of LaSalle, and the town of Tecumseh are all asking residents to pack a lot of it as they continue to clean up. They are also asking residents to remove parked vehicles from the streets if possible.
If you do have an opportunity to park in a driveway or in a parking lot that's available to you, please do that, because having cars on the road really slows us down, but it also doesn't allow us to completely clear the roadways.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Gold stocks led the way, but Canada's main stock index reversed course in the afternoon to finish lower today. The TSX dropped 52 points in Toronto, but in New York, the Dow gained 314 and the Nasdaq added 100. The Canadian dollar gained 0.16 of a cent, and on commodity markets, gold broke the $5,000 mark with a $100 gain, and oil fell 44 cents a barrel. Days after a second civilian was shot and killed by American Border Patrol agents, tensions continue to rise in Minneapolis. Now, some Republicans are calling for a broader investigation as videos contradict official accounts of what happened. NBC's Julie Sirkin reports.
A tense calm in Minnesota, days after Alex Preddy was shot and killed by a federal border agent during a confrontation tied to President Trump's immigration crackdown. Today, the president taking a new step, announcing he is sending border czar Tom Homan to Minneapolis tonight.
Mr. Homan will be the main point of contact on the ground in Minneapolis.
Trump had blamed Minnesota officials for the violence in Minneapolis. But this afternoon, a shift. In a Truth Social post, Trump said he had a good call with Governor Tim Walz and appeared to be on a similar wavelength.
2 of 3, 2/3 of the recorded homicides in Minneapolis right now were committed by federal agents. 2 of 3. That's what we're dealing with.
After the shooting Saturday, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem claimed Preddy, an intensive care nurse at a VA medical center, showed up to the ICE protest armed with a gun, intending to, quote, inflict maximum damage and to kill. But videos tell a different story. 4 videos from multiple angles show Preddy appearing to help a woman on the ground when he's pepper sprayed in the face, forced to the ground, and in one video, an agent appears to remove a gun from Preddy's waistband before gunshots ring out. Preddy was licensed to carry a firearm, but no video shows him holding a gun, contradicting Noem's statement.
Secretary Noem still has the utmost confidence and trust of the President of the United States, and she's continuing to oversee the entire Department of Homeland Security.
NBC News has learned federal agents were wearing body cameras, but that footage has not been released. And in a break from protocol, the Department of Homeland Security says it will handle the investigation into the fatal shooting and not the FBI. Democrats say that is unacceptable.
Local officials, local law enforcement needs to be involved in these investigations. It needs to be objective, and we simply can't accept an administration that says, don't believe your lying eyes.
And at least 5 Republican lawmakers are also calling for a full, transparent, and independent investigation. GOP Senator Bill Cassidy, writing the credibility of ICE and DHS, is at stake. In Washington, Julie Sirkin, NBC News.
And an update tonight on that shocking crash inside Detroit Metro Airport and the questions it's raising about security. Days after a car smashed through the doors of Detroit Metro, it's back to business. No one was hurt when the incident occurred Friday. A family member says the driver was experiencing a mental health episode. The investigation is ongoing, and prosecutors say no charges have been filed yet.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
For a look at the 7-day forecast, we are joined again by CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald. And Gary, I bet a lot of people are going to be getting out this weekend because it looks comparatively nice.
Yes, there's some sunshine in store. I agree with you, Travis. And this is one of the good things to be talking about the weather where we see some of the resolve, some of that silver lining, perhaps, to our problem of this polar air mass taking hold and definitely changing the way we go about traveling in particular, and our heating bills. We are still quite cold for the next 7 days, but we will, generally speaking, be headed to more seasonal values by the time Saturday and Sunday rolls around. Still below seasonal, but at least not 10 to 15 degrees below average. Snow tomorrow morning, very cold. Snow Wednesday, Thursday, and then that sunshine. Fair weather just in time for the weekend. Wherever you are, stay warm, stay safe, and have a good night.
Thank you, Gary. Finally tonight, some hockey players from London are headed to the Ontario Senior Winter Games next week, all of them over the age of 80. As CTV's Sean Irvin reports, once they hit the ice, they'll set a record.
On the ice and on the bench, this squad of senior hockey players is full of team spirit.
Go get him, Jamie!
London senior hockey, once known as Huff and Puff, has welcomed players into their 80s and a few into their 90s. But when the most senior in this recreational group decided to form their own over 80 competitive team, they ran into a problem. While submitting an application for the Ontario 55-plus Winter Games in Huntsville, the team found out they will be in a league of their own.
This is groundbreaking for us because I don't think any 80-year-old team has competed at this level before.
Games officials confirm it is a first. So, with no one else to play in their age group, the London team had to agree to face off against kids in their 70s. The thought doesn't scare this 81-year-old defenseman.
Oh, yeah, I said immediately, put me on.
The declaration is not surprising, as most have been playing for 3/4 of a century.
I think I got my first pair of skates when I was 4. I'm just the type of person that has to keep busy, and I've always played all kinds of sports.
The team will be coached by Brian Laporte, but as a young pup of 72, he does know his place.
You can't teach old dogs anything. Okay, come on.
Laughs aside, Brian, who is the convener of the LSH, takes pride in heading up a squad of senior hockey stars. He's optimistic that other players at the games will see them and opt to create their own 80-plus teams in time for the 2028 edition of the games.
Hopefully that's an inspiration for Ontario Senior Games.
Some, like John, a survivor of 2 heart attacks, have certainly taken on bigger challenges. It's partly why he was chosen to dub the team the Warriors.
Warriors, W-A-R-Y-E-A-R-S, because most of us were born the Warriors.
And for that reason, young players are forewarned that this group is not about to let you carry a puck by them without a little chip shot.
Coincidental contact, I guess. Yeah.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
That is a great story, and that's our time for tonight. I hope you'll join us tomorrow. For now, I'm Travis Fortnum. Take care.